Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. Hope the videos are helping your designing process. If they are, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Tap on that notification bell for further content notifications. Leave me a like, and please, if you would, take 5 seconds to drop me a comment below. I'd really appreciate that. It really helped me out. Also, if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, you can do so around this area here, just below here, a super thanks button, and you can buy me a cup of coffee. And you might need one on this one because some things takes a little bit longer than others. This one we're going to do is make a pendant, and we are going to be using Smart Flow with an open surface for the flow that we're going to be doing. We're going to show how to make it in a mesh, and we are going to go ahead and show how to do it in surface modeling. So let's go ahead and get going on it. We'll go to our curves, we'll go to our circle from center, and we'll just go to our creation layer, of course. Hit F4, and I'll hold down shift and drag it up maybe 20 millimeters or something like that, 10, right? And then for some reason, Smart Curve likes to give you a little problems when you first activate it, so we'll activate Smart Curve. We'll go to change from close to on, and symmetry to horizontal, and we'll just kind of click out here, and it puts it in that direction, which is not what we want. So we'll just go ahead and hit escape. I'll right click, bring that command back again, and do the same thing. Switch to closed on, symmetry horizontal, and go back over here to put it where I might want it, and we'll go from here, and now it puts it in the right direction. Don't ask, I don't know why. And then we'll click there and just right click to accept that, sort of like a airplane wing, right? And now we can do all kind of manipulation here. We can move it around if we want. We can make it longer. We don't want to go past our center here, so you know, you can move it around however you want, and you can also turn on points and play around with those. Maybe we want this a little thicker here. I'll go ahead and yeah, I'll keep that around that area, and then I'll just go ahead and right click and get rid of those points by hitting escape. And so what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and do our surface on it. So we'll go surface, parametric sweep 1. We'll select our curve, select our profile, and then right click, and we get our surface. We'll give some shading, and we'll go ahead and activate it. And again, if you wanted to, you can select your curve and move it around, making it whatever shape you want. You could activate points and do some more manipulating if you wanted to. And we have our UFO pendant out here. One thing I should mention, if I go to turn on the points, right, I can still select my curve. Well, I can still select the curve, maybe. Supposed to be able to. Yeah, I can still select the curve inside MatrixGold, but if you're still using M9, you will not be able to select your curve when your points are on. You'll have to turn your points off, and then you can select your curve. Okay, just FYI. Let's turn that surface back on, because we'll get going. And now we're going to end up breaking history, so make sure you get the shape that you want now, because we're going to break history on this. So I'm going to go ahead and select that curve, and I'll change it to gray and hide it, because we could maybe possibly need it in future depending on what you're doing, because you can use that curve to make another surface if you need to for whatever reason you want, right? So we'll go to curves, and we'll go to extract iso curve, and it places it out there for us, and we'll just kind of drag it up a little bit, something like maybe right there. Hit enter. I'll right click so we get another iso curve out there on the surface, and I'll drag it up somewhere around here, and we'll just go ahead, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. And we'll hit enter. Okay, so we have these two surfaces. Now we're going to select this, and we're going to split with our yellow curves, and then hit enter, and now we have this surface. Okay. Now there's something you should know. If you try to, well, first let's go ahead and do this part. So let's grab our surface here and go to offset, and we'll go offset, and our normals are in the facing the wrong direction. We want to inset, not extruded, right? So we'll go to flip all, and I have it set at a 0.05 or 0.5 rather, half millimeter, and I'll just right click to accept that, and it gives us this surface, and right away I'll just explode it. Now I want to take this surface, I want to keep it, because there's a lot of things you can do with this surface if you need to. If you did a smart flow and drew a pattern out there and you want to keep this shape here, you could use this as a cutter cutter to get all that all those items the exact same shape. So there's reasons to keep that. That's a whole nother video, so we'll just go ahead and keep it. It's always good to keep stuff, so we'll hide it over there. Right now, this is exploded, so it's in several different pieces. The edges here, here, and here, right? Now, there's something you should know. First, before we do this, let's go ahead and take all that yellow and hide it as well. So we have no curves out there. We just have our item. Now, we just want to flow on this surface right here, right? But if we take this surface, I'm going to do an auto base here just to show this off, but you don't have to do the auto base, of course. So I'm going to go to transform, and I'm going to go to auto base, and it gives us this huge auto base out here. And what this base is it's representing the entire item going all the way around, right? So if I was to do a smart flow on this item right here, the smart flow would run all the way around the item, because this surface is still connected with this surface here in the program, right? So what we need to do is select this surface, is go to a surface menu and scroll down to edit tools, and we want to shrink trim surface and hit that, right? And now if we were to do that auto base, so let's go back to auto base, you can see that it's a much thinner item, right? And this right here now is representing just this surface, not the entire item, and that's what we want. So if you're doing auto base or something like that, and you're going to do a design on your own, be aware that you'll probably need to shrink that trim surface, right? But we're not going to. We're going to be using Smart Flow on this particular item, and we're going to be using an open item. We're going to be doing it mesh and surface modeling. So we'll go to Smart Flow, and it says to select our surface. So we'll select that surface, and it gives us our options out here, right? And we'll just do one that's open here, so something like this here, and we'll just go ahead and click on that and double click on it and just kind of wait. There, it's out there, right? But it's pointing in the wrong direction. So if I grab that, first let's accept it by right clicking. I'll select that surface, and I'll just change it to this surface real quick so we can kind of check this out. And I'll go to my green and turn it off. And as you can see, my solid surface is at the bottom and my open surface is at the top. And of course, that's not going to do us any good, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to select that surface again, and hit dir, type in dir in a command line direction, and you can see the norms are pointing down. The first thing we want to do is point those up, right? And the next thing we want to do is go in here and switch our red or U. So we'll reverse that, and then we'll hit enter. And now it gives us the correct surface facing up, right? And the open surface is down into the item. Now I'm going to do more modeling in this, doing the surface modeling, but if you just want this all one piece, right? And I'll show you what I mean in the next part here. Doing it in surface. This one we're going to do in mesh. So if you wanted this all one color, like a yellow gold, all yellow gold, or all red gold, or whatever, green gold or white gold or whatever, it's really, after you put your, maybe go ahead and put your O-ring on there for your bell, you can go ahead and select it all, go to manufacturing, go to mesh repair, and then hit well, it'll just start mesh repairing it, and now's a great time to go hit the snack bar up or stretch the legs or get that cup of coffee, right? Because it takes a little bit of time, and the more detail, the more design you have out here, the longer it will take. This one didn't take so long, but that's what it is. Now, at this point where it turns to color, before you accept it, if there's a lot of detail out there, you probably want to go down here and change this mesh tolerance to from a 0.03, change it to a 0.01, right? But we'll just go ahead and accept that. So let me go back. I just backed out of it because I typed in for the change of the command. Oh, be careful. But like I said, sometimes this can take a while. The more detail you have, if you have a lot more, you have beading out there, or you have a lot of prongs or something like that, it can take a little bit of time. So we're just going to go ahead. Like I said, again, you want to change this to 0.01 before you, and that will take a lot longer, just FYI. We'll just go ahead and accept this. Now we have our mesh and our poly surfaces out there. I'm going to go over here and select all meshes, and then drag it over here, and we'll just give it some shading here. And now this one here, the mesh is ready to print. All you have to do is add your sprues on there and your button and everything, and you are good to go. You can print that up, no problem, right? So if you're wanting it all one color, this would be the way to go. But if you're going to want it maybe some sandblasting or antiquing or something down in those little grooves, you don't want to do it this way. Or if you want it two-tone, you want this the white part here to be like yellow gold and this part to be white gold. You don't want to do it that way. You want to go ahead and surface model it, and that's what we're going to show now. So right now I have this out here. I'm going to take this surface here, and we'll change it to this, and then I'll turn off this because we only need to work with these two surfaces, right? And first thing I'm going to do is take all my a smart flow pattern there, and I am going to go ahead and split it with this surface down here, right? And then hit enter. Okay, and just wait for that to go through and do its deal. And if I click on it, it selects it all again, but because it's all grouped together, if I ungroup it, you'll see that I get well, hit enter, ungroup. These pieces down here are all split, right? So before I go ahead and get rid of those, let's go ahead and select this surface, and we'll split it with all of this white here, and then hit enter. And just wait for it to do its dealy. It could take a little time because we split all those. So it's going to go through and pick out, split all that. And now I can take, I don't want these little pieces, right? But I do want these bigger pieces. So what I'm going to do is select this, which will, select this down here, and I'll change it to, I don't know, this, let's change it to red. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, right? Oop, I turned it all. Let's see here. Okay, this, why is that? Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, confused there. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and turn that red off. Now I can go ahead and select all those little pieces and delete them, right? And bring back that red, and that red is all closed off now. So everything's closed off, sorry. And we have all the white up here, right? And it's ungrouped. So let's see, but I need to get rid of these little pieces here, right? So what I need to do is go through, and let's change it back here so we can kind of see what's going on. And I'm going to just go through here and select all these top pieces here, the solid top pieces, right? So that we can get rid of those bottom halves pretty easily, and we'll change that to this color here, and we'll turn off this and turn off this, and we have all those little extra pieces that we had split. We'll delete those and turn this back on and this back on, right? Okay, so, and that gives us those pieces right there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's grab it all, and let's change it to a little darker color so we can kind of see what's going on out here, right? Now we need to close off the inside here at edge and the outside edge, right? So we'll go in here and go to surface, and we will go to blend, just the bottom blend, not the variable. And we will hit chain edges. And we will select the outside edges first. So we'll go through here and select this one, and spin it around, and just keep spinning around until you get the command line that says second edge, right? So we'll go through here and select all those upper edges. And once it says select segment for second edge, you only need to click it once because it's all one surface. And then we can go ahead and hit enter. And we're going to keep it at a position because maybe we want this a different color, right? And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now we'll do the same thing. We'll right click and we'll go back to chain edges. And we'll go through here and pick all these ones at the top going around. Until it says select our second edge, and we only need to do that one, and it gives us that, and we'll hit enter and hit OK on that, right? So we have now closed off for the most part. So we'll select it all and we'll go to join, and it'll give us our surface there, right? And if we select it, it says close poly surface now. So if we bring back our item here, oh, I did not duplicate that surface. That is a major bummer. Before I did all the splitting, I should have duped in place that surface and hit it on a different layer because I only have the top layer. But that's okay because I can take that top layer, select it, and I can go to offset, switch the arrow here to down, right? Half, but this time closed. No, I don't want it closed. I want it open. So just go ahead and hit enter, and then it'll drop that surface down, and we'll take that original surface and we'll change it to this color here. And now we have that surface down there where it was below. So, I mean, really duplicating it would probably have been a lot easier, save me an extra step, but we have it back now. And now what we can have this in two-tone, right? So if we go to change it to here, and let's go ahead and grab all that green. I think it's all, let's see, let's go ahead. I think that green is, yeah, it's all green there. So we can go to, and we can see that we can get a two-tone item out. We can get this all yellow, this all white, and when we solder it, we would be soldering along this seam here and this seam here to get our two-tone right there. But this part we want to keep a different color for rendering, and I'll show that in a second. We're going to do a little bit more designing on this, so I'll show that in just a second. Now what we want to do is go ahead and maybe we want a center stone right there in the middle, right? So we'll go to gems, we'll go to select a gem, and we'll pop that puppy up a little bit. And we don't want a diamond, maybe we want a cabochon, right? Now there's something with the cabochons is that if you select this, it makes it kind of 3Ds everything, right? You select this, it kind of 3Ds everything, or you select this, it kind of 3D. It's not something that you can really manipulate fairly well, right? So first let's kind of get it the size we want, something like that probably, and then we'll bump that down in there and maybe go to perspective or front view and kind of see how deep we have it in there. Maybe a little bit more. That red arrow there, right? Something like that maybe, perhaps. But we can come over here and we can unlock it right here. Just click on that lock, and then we can go to height here. Go in and click, and we'll just type it to a 3 and then hit enter. So it drops it down, maybe more of a shape that we want to use, right? So you can adjust that to any size that you want or whatever stone you're going to be using. And we'll just select this and we'll go to settings and we'll go to a bezel. And we have this out here. Now we can do some more manipulation. We're going to go ahead and hide all green and hide this here. And what color is that? That's our yellow. So we'll switch here and go to here, right? And we want to maybe go to perspective or front view so we can kind of see what's going on. And wireframe, right? Because we want to, this is set up for a diamond or a faceted stone right here, right? So first thing I'm going to do is drop that up. well, actually, no, I'm going to take that back down to where it was so that the edge is right there. I'm going to flip this so that it goes 90 degrees right straight across. So now I have a little ledge there. I can make that a little longer or whatever size that I want, right? And we can maybe bump this up a little bit. And we can adjust this down here and do all kind of adjustments, right? So let's bring back everything so we can kind of see how it's laying out here. Yeah, that's okay. And oh, let's get this surface back out here. So we have something like this going on. Let's go to wireframe. Let's go back to our front. Just kind of see maybe, what is that? 2 point, that's a little deep. Let's bring that up a little bit. And we'll just go ahead and take that, right? And we'll give it some shading. So now we have a little pendant out here. And if you wanted to, you can make it a double-sided pendant, right? Just to go ahead and do the same process that we did here for the Smart Flow on this side here. You can flip those curves, those gray curves over to the other side and do the cutout and do another pattern on that side and just select your stone and your bezel, go to transform, mirror in the Z direction, and accept that, and you have the one on the other side where you can do a whole nother pattern, right? So let's just go ahead and get rid of that for right now. We don't really, but it's an option that you have. You could do a double-sided so the customer could have a little bit more options. Maybe you put a diamond on one side, or not a diamond for cabochon, but an opal or whatever, emerald or ruby or whatever stone on one side and the other on the other side, right? Now what we can do is go ahead and go to our settings, go to our bail, and we'll just drag that bail out, right? Kind of get it to where we want it, 5mm. Let's make it a little bigger, and then do your manipulations here. We'll bump that out, something like that. We'll bump this out, something like this. We'll change the profile, give it a little more style, something like this here, and the bottom one we'll just do the same one, something like that, right? And our O-ring, we'll need to, our internal diameter we want to bump out. And maybe our, let's see here. Internal, and then maybe make that a little thicker. 0.5, we want it a little thicker. Something like that, maybe. Maybe bump, not, we'll just go back to our, bump this out a little bit. And you have, and of course you probably want to, that's a pretty thin chain in there, so we want to go in here and open that up a little bit so we get a larger chain through there. And maybe you want to make it a little thicker. Oh, wrong one. Let's go here, this one here, make it a little thicker, something like that. Maybe make this a little thicker, whatever. However you want to set it up, right? And we'll go ahead and accept that. And we'll just kind of drag it in there a little bit more. And it's right there in our center, right? Now here you probably want to go ahead and ungroup this and then take this and just, well, for the rendering, but for printing, you'll want to hide it and just print this, right? If you want this separate, you'll have to drag it over and make a separate file for that and do all your manufacturing spruing on that as well, and then do the other one after you group this together, right? But we're just going to do a rendering here, so we'll just go ahead and show this. And what kind of render? Let's make this a two-tone. We'll make it a two-tone, so we'll just go ahead and grab this surface here and hold down shift and grab all our green, and we'll just go ahead and join all that together. Let's see, grab this, and join. Why is it not joining here? Let's grab this and hide it here real quick. Let's grab this and change it. Well, let's just turn it off here. Yeah, it should join. Maybe it's not exactly on my, because we dropped it down, right? Because I didn't duplicate that Let's grab all that. There we go. Okay, it worked. All right, so it's all joined together, right? But for our rendering, we don't want it joined. So what I'm going to do is everything else is joined together. And if I take it, look, we got a closed surface. So I'm just going to extract this surface for rendering purposes. Extract surface. It'll be the surface here, and then hit enter. And then we'll change that one to this layer here, right? And then bring back our original cutout there, right? For rendering purposes. But for printing purposes, you'll want to keep that all together, of course, because now this one's an open surface. All right, so let's see. We'll take this all white and we'll make this yellow. So let's go ahead and take all this and we'll switch it to green for rendering purposes. And what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and activate render. And we'll start applying materials, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my materials document and turn on my materials and just get rid of everything that's in here. It's just what I like to do. I can just start from scratch, right? And I'm going to go ahead and take that and we'll change that to Matrix Classic, right? So let's go to, we have no materials applied yet. So we'll go in here. I'm going to go ahead and select all green and we're going to make that 18 karat white gold and then hit enter or apply to all the green. We'll go ahead and select this other surface here and we're going to go ahead, close that one out, close this one out, close that one out, close that one out. We're going to select matte. Black matte and then go ahead and apply that, and then for our stone here we'll go back up to gems and we'll make it an emerald and apply that, and we'll go to documents, go to our emerald preview for render for ray traced, and we'll just give it a little look see here, and we have this here so we can go ahead maybe and bump that to a little bit lighter color or something, whatever color we want. And if you do a cutter on it, it will come out to, your color will be a little bit better. So let's go ahead and do that actually. Let's grab this and go to cutters and do a gem cutter. And we don't want to see any of the metal there, right? So let's go to wireframe and see what we got going on here. It looks like it's going around it all. But we'll need to, our girdle thickness, we'll make that much thicker, and our placement, we'll drag that up so that it'll cut all that out, right? And let's give it some shading so we can't see any of that. So let's go here, go to our solids, and we will a balloon difference. That's our first surface. Our second surface is our cutter, enter, and then enter, right? So it should render out a little bit better for us as far as color, and as you can see it gives it a little bit more color, but now we have this black for some reason, which is kind of unusual. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get rid of all that white gold, just delete it, and then I'll go back, select all my green, and maybe reapply that white gold on there. There we go. And then that green here is still matte black. And this here, we're going to make a yellow, 18 karat yellow gold. And now we have that. We'll activate MatrixGold. And we get something like that. Wow. Okay, so let's go back to materials. Let's get rid of MatrixGold here. And it gives us that. It's kind of interesting. I don't know why that happened. But you can see here, we altered our emerald, and that's why that's doing that. We can put lights out there, give it more lighting. Let's select this here. Let's go in and let's close out some of this stuff. Metals, gems, ground planes. Let's go down to shiny car paint, and let's activate that puppy there. And you can see we can get a nice little render going on. So if we rendered it out, and again, this is probably a good place to go grab a cup of coffee or a snack, stretch the legs at least, and wait for the rendering. Not sure why it's taking so long. There we go. If I put lights out there, it would really show it off even more. You could go ahead and texture that in there. Maybe you wanted a sandblasting texture or something like that. And we can go in here to Final Pass, activate these two puppies here, and we can kind of change it around to give it a little bit more lifelike image, right? But I'm not going to go into rendering and all that right now, but there you go. Hopefully this helps, and if it does, please go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the content. Thanks for watching, and good designing.